As of April 2023, Rwanda has been widely acknowledged for its rapid economic growth and development following the genocide against the Tutsi in 1994. The country has implemented extensive economic reforms, invested in infrastructure, healthcare, and education, and embraced technology, making it one of the fastest-growing economies in Africa. While specific annual growth rates have varied, Rwanda's economy has experienced remarkable growth rates, often exceeding 5% per annum over the past 2 decades. For instance, between the year 2000 and the year 2015, the country's GDP growth averaged around 8% per year. This growth has been instrumental in reducing poverty and improving living standards across the country. As of April 2023, China had experienced significant economic growth over the past few decades, becoming the second-largest economy in the world. This growth was fueled by rapid industrialization, a focus on manufacturing and exports, and substantial investments in infrastructure and technology. While specific annual growth rates have varied, China's economy grew at an unprecedented average annual rate of around 9% to 10% from the late 1970s until around 2010. In the 2010s, the growth rate began to slow, but remained impressive by global standards, averaging approximately 6% to 7% per year until the late 2010s. The COVID-19 pandemic impacted China's economy in 2020, causing it to grow by just 2.3%, which was its slowest pace in over 4 decades, but still remarkable given the global economic downturn. However, China bounced back relatively quickly, with a growth rate of 8.1% in 2021, according to the National Bureau of Statistics of China. This rebound was driven by strong exports and a recovery in domestic consumption. Vietnam has experienced significant economic growth, driven by manufacturing and export-oriented policies, particularly in recent years. Vietnam's GDP growth has been impressive. Over the past decade, Vietnam's GDP growth rate has often exceeded 6% per annum, with some years even surpassing 7% or 8%. Vietnam's economic growth has been supported by factors such as foreign direct investment, export expansion, industrialization, and a growing domestic market. Additionally, Vietnam has benefited from trade agreements and its strategic location in Southeast Asia, which has attracted investment and facilitated trade. Bangladesh has experienced significant economic growth, largely driven by its garment export industry and remittances from abroad. Bangladesh's GDP growth has been impressive over the past few years. The country's GDP growth rate has often exceeded 6% to 7% per annum, with some years even surpassing 8% or more. The garment export industry is a major contributor to Bangladesh's economy, accounting for a significant portion of its exports and providing employment to millions of people. Remittances from Bangladeshi workers abroad, particularly in the Middle East and Southeast Asia, also play a crucial role in supporting the country's economy. In addition to these factors, Bangladesh has seen growth in other sectors such as agriculture, services, and manufacturing. Government policies aimed at promoting investment, improving infrastructure, and fostering economic development have also contributed to Bangladesh's GDP growth. India has experienced strong economic growth. It is fueled by a rapidly expanding economy and large-scale reforms. India's GDP growth has been impressive over the past few years. The country's GDP growth rate has often exceeded 6% to 7% per annum, with some years even surpassing 8% or more. India's growth has been supported by various factors, including demographic dividends, a growing middle class, a thriving services sector, and advancements in technology and innovation. Additionally, government initiatives that aimed at promoting investments, improving infrastructure, and implementing structural reforms have also contributed to India's economic growth. Ethiopia has indeed experienced consistent high economic growth driven by government investments in infrastructure and development projects. Ethiopia's GDP growth has been impressive over the past few years. The country's GDP growth rate has often exceeded 7% to 8% per annum, with some years even surpassing 10% or more. Ethiopia's growth has been supported by factors such as significant investments in infrastructure projects, including roads, railways, dams, and power plants. These investments aim to improve connectivity, boost productivity, and stimulate economic development across various sectors. Additionally, government initiatives to promote industrialization, agriculture, and urbanization have also contributed to Ethiopia's economic growth. Guyana has experienced a significant surge in economic growth due to oil discoveries and production. Guyana's GDP growth has been remarkable over the past few years. The country's GDP growth rate has often exceeded 20% to 30% per annum, reflecting the transformative impact of the oil sector on the economy. Guyana's newfound oil wealth has led to substantial investment in exploration, production, and infrastructure development. This has resulted in increased government revenues, job creation, and economic expansion across various sectors. Additionally, the oil sector has attracted foreign investment and spurred growth in related industries such as construction, transportation, and services.